My name is Marie Vaillancourt, and I am the program manager at the Juno Beach Center. The Juno Beach Center is a small, medium-sized museum anchored on the beaches of D-Day on Juno, and it was founded 10 years ago by veterans. It was kind of hard to tell that Canada had been on Juno on the 6th of June 1944 and dreamt the dream that there could be something that told the story of what Canadians did. This group of veterans was traveling back to Holland, and they also made their way to Juno, having been D-Day veterans. The leadership was definitely provided by Garth Webb. He had this vision that there should be something, and so he started to fundraise, fully aware he would probably need around $10 million, and he was plus 70 years old at the time, so he got a group of people, relatives, friends, war widows, a group of people that were tightly knit and knew each other, and just took this idea and ran with it and made it happen. So basically the Juno Beach now is 10 years old, but I always say that it's 20 years old because there was 10 years in the making before that. The first trip back to, for those veterans to Europe was in the early 1990s. That's sort of when Canadian veterans started to reinvest their own past and start to take the time to celebrate it. This comes with big waves of commemorations in Normandy. The 50th anniversary, the 60th anniversary always brings, a new wave of ideas to preserve this history, and so that's how it got started. I think Canadians are surprised to find a museum that does not talk a lot about D-Day and the Battle of Normandy, and instead tries to show the whole of the history, and that's because there's many reasons why we chose to do that back then, but it is a museum about Canada before the war, during the war, and after the war. So you have the 1930s, the setup to our participation in this war, and then the different campaigns, the home front. It's quite extensive. In 650 meters space, square meter space, you have all of this huge story trying to be told in such small spaces. So the idea was to be different from all the other museums out there on the beaches of D-Day, because there's many of them, and it's D-Day history and it's Battle of Normandy history. So we thought we'd do it differently so that Europeans could see that Canada had done all of this. And I think it's a legitimate concern and position to have. Europeans love it. They're quite surprised to see this is what Canada did. You have to understand, in the context of Normandy, everybody knows about Omaha, everybody knows about the Americans, everybody knows about the British. Europeans are surprised to discover Canadians were there too. And so they have this approach as Canada's the poor parent of D-Day, and you come to this museum and you learn about Canada, what it was before the war, all the way up to what Canada is today. The most important project for the immediate future is the tunnels. It's what I call contemporary archaeology. We've discovered some German underground networks right on the site, and of course we have to network and work with the city of Courseulles-sur-Mer, where the Juno Beach Center is established. It's not Canadian territory. We have to work hand in hand with our partners on this project, making those safe and accessible to the public again, because that's what people want to see, is how did this network work on this site? How was the Atlantic Wall organized? Most people see it as one big wall of China. It wasn't like that. So exploring the intricacies of how the Germans set up their systems and how the Canadians overcame this, that's what is the biggest priority for 2014, 2015, is making the site real and accessible, preserving the remains of the scars of that battle. And certainly, well, since you might have heard, but there is a big push in Normandy by politicians to make the beaches of Normandy have the status of a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. That's a process in on itself that takes quite a few years, so that will also change the nature of memory tourism in Normandy in certainly a positive way. Huge challenges of preserving those markers that prove that D-Day did happen.